You are live. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're hearing me all right. Don't know how long we're going to last tonight. You can hear that I've got a sore throat. I've got
Yes, we can hear you all right.
thank you. Got quite a chest for some reason as well. But we'll see how we go on. If it starts to play up too much, then I'll have to call it. But I don't want to mess myself up for the holiday the end of next week. Good evening, Missy. Good evening, Paul. Yeah, pass on my best to CJ, buddy. Remanded for using a camera. Fuck you now. They're getting ridiculous over there, aren't they? Absolutely ridiculous. But give him my best anyway, mate. Keep us up to speed on what's happening. Dale's going to pop in later. He's on a break. All right, Dale, no worries, mate. If you're just listening there, that's not a problem. Not many in tonight. All out enjoying this nice weather. Well, there's not a lot going on out there in the world, really, is there, other than the immigrants and the race for the PM ship here, which, again, is loads of bollocks. What we got here? But, Sunak out on the rampage telling everybody that he's stopping the boats. Yeah, righto. Jen, good evening, sweetheart. Moo. Missy sitting in the garden. Yeah, I haven't got any leads long enough so I can sit out there. The trouble is with the screens, I would be bothered with flies and shit. But, 882 came over yesterday. They said there was no rescues, but I remember seeing somewhere that there was it 85 got rescued or something? That might have been my brain. That might have been the day before. Evening, Moo. Oh, I've got gas as well. But he's still insisting that he's stopping the boats. And as I said in the video, everything but. Phil, good evening, bud. Yeah, not too bad, mate, except a sore throat. I've got a bit of a bad chest as well. I don't know whether it's an infection or not, but probably won't last till 10 o'clock tonight. It's raspy now, and the breathing's a bit weird. Yeah, it could be to do with this thing. I mean, there's not a lot of fluid left in it now. I've been cutting down the use. I want to be clear of it by the end of this week. But we've got a lot of upheaval going on with Tommy Robinson again, by the looks of things, over a film he made 4 years ago, exposing the corruption in the justice system in this country, in the judiciary, and the way it's worked. They did take an injunction out on it, Iron Stitch, to stop it being shown in this country, which he abided by, as he said. If you want to see the full video he put out, I think Resist and a few others have got copies of it up. But basically, he's looking at another 2-year stretch behind bars from the 29th of next month because somebody showed this film in America. Well, it's not his fault if somebody's leaked it and somebody's got hold of it and shown it. But who reminded you of what? Good evening, Andy. How you doing, buddy?
Missy said He's stopping the boats and I'm Marilyn Monroe.
Oh,
So I've come back. I know you reminded me of somebody.
I didn't see that one. Yeah, welcome, Andy. I'll take it you're at home now. But yeah, he's there's nothing stopping them boats, only the weather. You know, the French police punctured one, I think it was, but there was still 15 of them. Got across with nearly 900, 882, I think it was, on board. At the same time, he's bleating on about how he's stopping. Yeah, in your fucking dreams. But anyway, yeah, Tommy. Now they got the next rallies on the 27th of next month, and the court is on the 29th, I believe. Just got in. It's my turn to cook. Get on with it, Andy. Get on.
You got fish and chips on the way home.
But how they can jail him for that, I don't know. But the thing is, it's not a jury. It's the judge only. So whatever happens, the verdict will be given on somebody's opinion rather than 12 fair and just people. Which to me is wrong. If you're looking at somebody's freedom, then it should be a jury. It shouldn't be just down to a judge. You know, this isn't America. But basically, they know that he's got a good following now. They've already branded him far right. The rest of us that agree with what he's doing and what he's saying, we've been branded as far right football hooligans. I can't even stand the fucking game of football, so how that would work, I don't know. But there you go. They're going after him for it. But it's only going to prove what we already know. The justice system is absolutely corrupt in this country. It's very, very rarely do they stand up for what's right. I mean, even you see the verdicts given on mainstream TV now. Yeah, you get a murder case, they'll bang someone up, they'll give them life, but you can get out after 10 years, 15 years. Good evening, Karen. But yeah, they're quietly trying to shut down any opposition to their narrative, which is going to change drastically after the beginning of next month. Don't forget what Labour stand for. Yeah. They love a totalitarian society. I've got people message me on Facebook now. I tell them every bloody week that when I'm live, I don't answer them, so not my problem. Yeah, Andy, it's getting ridiculous now. Evening, Tony. Yeah, it's not him, it's the ideal. But because he's the focus of their investigations or whatever you want to call it, it's him that takes the rap for it. But as he says, it's not just him they're coming for. They're coming for the rest of us. They want us to be quiet. They want us to shut up and just be good little citizens and do what we're told. Well, yeah, fuck them. You know, I'm not prepared to live like that. And I'll do everything I can to avoid it. And this is why we're actually going to vote reform. We know they're not going to win. It would be bloody nice to sit here and think that all of a sudden, within the next couple of weeks, they can get enough votes to outweigh Labour, but it ain't going to happen. Oh, damn. What's going on in the chat? Yeah. Oh, pardon me. Ooh. Not a lot. Sorry if I'm breathing heavy here, folks. It is my chest playing up.
Just you being sexy.
Me being sexy, heavy breathing. But I breathe like that no matter how much I'm putting out, doesn't it? You know what I mean? But, oh, yeah, one more went to Rwanda this week, didn't he? Another £3,000 in his pocket. I wonder if he'll just disappear into the background, the same as the last one did. Sexy Roger. Oh, I don't know about that, Karen. Karen, I used to be when I was a lot younger, but yeah, it's something I get all the time, Jen. Me breathing. It's part of the symptoms with the blood condition, apparently. Same as me muscles, and numb big toes is another part of it. But it could be all this shit they're spraying in the up there as clouds, isn't it? You sound like my favourite mystery caller. Yes. It's funny, but I mean, I used to take the piss out of that. But I was out there looking this morning. I can see now it's starting to clear up. Blue skies starting to appear. And as soon as there's a gap in the clouds, you can see these trails appearing. Now, I actually did a short video out the back this morning. I will put it up at some point, where you can actually see the long trails. You can actually see where they end, where the cloud starts, because you can see through the patches, filling in where there ain't no clouds. And right above me was another aircraft going over with a genuine condensation trail, which was actually dispersing as he went along. It wasn't permanent. Yet the other trails up there were. We know they've admitted to a certain amount of it, but when you can sit here and think, oh yeah, that was clear blue sky yesterday, no trails. Clear blue sky this morning, one or two trails, then a few more. Then all of a sudden the natural clouds started coming in. So that took over from it. It's blatantly obvious what they're doing. It really is. I mean, I didn't buy into a lot of it, but looking at what they're coming out with now and doing a bit of research on it, absolutely, that could be what's going on. Tommy, yeah, done that one. Oh, we got inflation again as well, haven't we? Oh, fucking hell. Inflation's coming down. Is it bollocks? That's all in Sunak's head, I think. I mean, there are one or two prices in the shops and the supermarkets that have dropped, but it was blatantly obvious that they'd put the prices up that much that they can afford to drop them, and it still can be overpriced. And there wasn't much being dropped. In fact, fuel's gone up, petrol and diesel. It's going back up again. So personally, I think this is all flannel from the government. Most of the figures are controlled by the bank anyway, not the government. So when he says that they're doing it, they're not. Whatever's being fudged around with the figures, it's usually by the bank. Well, this is what I don't know, Missy. You know, it's if they're spraying all sorts of shit up there and we don't know what it is, we don't know how it's affecting us. But yeah, it's not been too bad here, Jen. I wouldn't say it's been absolutely humid. I mean, I've been sat here with a jumper or a light jacket on all day, but but it's been warm outside. It's usually colder in here than it is outside, to be honest. Pardon me. This is the coolest corner of the house, the coldest corner of the house. Yes, Karen, every which way we turn, we're being shafted at by the mate at the moment. I don't think it's going to get any better. I said this a while back. I said if they can't win, they're going to leave it in such a fucking mess that the new ones taking over are going to have to try and sort it all out. And what I see is that exactly what they're doing. They're just putting enough shit in place to make it a nightmare to take over from. I mean, a mile away, Jen. Yeah, absolutely. It's for such a small country, we can actually have weather zones if you look at what they're doing. But maybe this is how they're predicting our summer next week. They're going to stop spraying so they know it's going to be warm. But then we're going to end up with, we're going to have water shortages and bollocks like that, aren't we? That will be the next one. You know, it even looks like Stonehenge has been sunburnt with all the fucking orange paint they've sprayed over it. The day before the solstice as well. But if any of you are moon watchers and star watchers, don't forget Friday 21st is a strawberry moon. So if it's clear, that could be quite nice to see. If it is clear, I'm going to put a camera out the back and try and get some pictures of it. Or a quick clip or something. Obviously, it'd be Mrs. W's live on Friday at the same time. Unless it's a bit earlier, where I can get it done before she goes live. Now, next week, to be honest, I won't be doing a live. I've got, when is it? Tuesday. I've got another round of treatment before we go on holiday, and we actually go on Friday. So I'm going to need a few days to myself next week. So next Wednesday, there probably won't be a live, and there definitely won't be a Mrs. W's next week, because obviously we're not going to be here. And I can't see the grandson running a live for me from here. But I have got the laptop there, as you can see. That's all updated now, and whatever updates and upgrades need doing for it, so that can come with me. Very much doubt as if I'll do a live while we're up there, but I may post a few videos depending on what happens, basically. Anything interesting. No, don't tell the government. Yeah, maybe they'll leave it clear for us on Friday now, Karen. Yeah, bring a moon tax in. Well, if you think about it, with all this bloody green shit and pollution tax they're putting, they are basically taxing us on the air we breathe and polluting it at the same time. The areas where they are taking money, like London and that, over allegedly fucking clearing the air, is actually getting worse, and they're the ones that are paying for it. Which does seem, well, as we know, it's arse about face, and we know little dictators doing it for the money, nothing else. Oh, what the fuck did I press there? Oh, there we go. Right, being as I'm probably not going to be on till 10 tonight with me throat, we'll put that up there now. Oh, go away, you bloody thing. Desert Fox, good evening, buddy. How are you? Enjoying this bit of warm weather? Oh, shit, yeah, I've got to try and cut the grass again before we go, haven't I? Remind me to do some weed killing as well. If you remember.
Yes,
get some of them.
Oh, thank you for fixing the window wipers, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I did that yesterday. Don't turn them on dry though. If you're just cleaning, make sure you turn the washer on as well. So the new wipers they're fitting to cars now, they just don't seem to have the strength to keep themselves against the glass anymore. I mean, I fitted a set last year and the bastards were split already. We had to replace them again this year. And we don't do that many miles. Gary, good evening, mate.
But I always use the car if it's raining.
Well, yeah, obviously. So do I. If my chest ain't better next week, I might need to lift up the hospital as well. So, but we'll see how we go.
Always, my darling, you know that.
But they will be taking some blood out of me this time, as they only took half a lot last time. Which I don't mind, actually. It means a sore arm for a few days. But it means I won't get any of the symptoms while we're away, which will be nice. Especially as we'll be hopefully sat there doing a lot of fishing. We've got an old mate coming up to see us as well. They'll probably be stopping overnight. Have a good catch up there.
Moose, he's interested in coming up as well?
Yeah, Moose said he might pop over for a bit of fishing. It depends where we go, whether it's on the beach or the prom. The promenade is a bit more productive than the beach, but the beach is more fun. And you don't get bothered by people on there, which is another nice thing. Oh, yeah, we've got loads of Tories leaving the party now as well. And several of them have gone over to Reform. Did anybody see Boris yesterday? Big up in some of the Tories. What a fucking mess they look like. It looked like he'd been dragged around behind a couple of horses all day. But basically, they told him to stop, so he's fucked off on holiday now till 2 days before the election, I think it is. 90% I'll be there at some point, says Moo. Yeah, Gary. I mean, he did. He looked an absolute fucking mess. He really did. He just looked like he was a druggie, to be honest. Dribbling and slurring and Desert Fox's joy died. Oh, hello. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, styling by Sweb 240 volt, you know. And that other little protege of his from Lichfield over here by us, he looked just as big a fucking mess today as well.
He's got the same hairdresser as Boris.
But to be honest, we haven't had any of them knocking on the door. We had one leaflet from Labour, and I chucked that straight in the bin in front of the bloke who put it in the fucking door. The only one we've kept is the one on Reform, so we know who our local one is to vote for.
Mark Oath.
And that's providing our postal votes come on time. We had to speak to them on the phone yesterday. They'd processed headers, but they hadn't processed mine. Yet they went in on the same day, from the same website. The email address to reply to them is exactly the same for both. Yet they processed hers and forgot mine. So they got a rocket put up their arse and getting in gear, and they promised that it should be here early next week, which, he's going to leave it tight. I think they said the 26th. Well, we go on the 28th. So, and then she had the cheek to say, well, I don't know if you're politically minded. I said, absolutely I am. I said, and the Electoral Commission will hear about this if it doesn't come on time, because basically you're blocking votes. You didn't tell us how long it would take. You didn't tell us how long it takes to process them. Yeah, Claudia Winkleman is the one with the real dark hair over her eyes and funny blue lips, Desert Fox, if that's the one you're on about. And she does look a weird one.
Sorry.
Bless you. But I won't dye mine, mate. It is what it is. Claudia from the 90s. Yeah. Mine's grey, and that's the way it'll stay. I've never used colourant in my hair. It did used to be quite dark when I was young. Oh, there goes my fucking throat again. Jesus. Oh. Oh. But that's it off my list. What have you guys been up to then? Come on, tell me. Oh, we've got quite a bit of lag going on with YouTube there. You've been bleaching the scalp, yeah. No, that's falling out naturally, mate. If you look at the red line there, it looks like I've got something stitched in there, but believe me, it's not. The sort of programs she's in, Jen, I don't watch anyway. I don't bother with those sort of programs. Dyed mine grey when I was 20. I was more or less grey anyway by the time I was 30, naturally, me. Funny enough, my dad was as well. He went grey very, very early. 1 a 10 ounce bar of 99.9 silver. Well, precious metals are going up quite a bit now, Lofa. A lot of people were saying that silver is going to be a better one than gold to collect, so. I've been polishing my head, started at 21. Yeah, Jen, you know, she's always on the ads, but she comes across as one of them dopey bimbos. Yeah, my old man died with a full head of hair, Gary. Although it was as grey as mine, but he had a full head of it. Right, I'm going to get another drink. Oh.
Sorry, darling, I'm just going to get myself one. I could have got one for you.
You could have done.
But I didn't. Is that because she loves you?
Thank you, little cat. Oh. Oh, let's have a Coke instead. Well, it's not just our generation, Gary. They have been seeding and putting stuff up there for years, mate. It's not just this generation. I mean, the thing that was passed for it that allowed them to do it was back in the 50s. Steve, good evening, mate. Yeah, I meant to ask how you're getting on, Karen. I did see on Facebook there you'd ended up at the hospital because of the pain. I mean, I normally put up with it and just wait until I'm up there for one of my regular appointments, but yeah, I did see it on Facebook, Karen. That's putting your back out, especially with the bladder infection, because that'll be pressing on your back and your muscles anyway. So a lot of the pain would be compounded into one area there. I know that. I've had that before. Because I do have problems with my lungs and that. And if I pull a muscle in my back or twist it or something, that pushes on it. And it causes a great deal of pain. So I can sympathise with you there. I know how it feels. Like that fucking idiot chef, what's his name? Gordon Ramsay, showing his bruise off where he had his bike accident. Well, I've had bruises that big all up my back, all up my legs and my thigh. And I've never seen one that ends squarely and has corners. I reckon a lot of that was false. And it was too dark right to the edge. It wouldn't have been like that. It would have been yellow and purple and lighter colours around the edges. I know. I've got some photos of mine. And they look nothing like that. Oh, breathing weird again. Feels like someone's drilling this space in my mind. Right, Steve. Yeah, I had that when they did the old spinal tap for the spinal fluid. When I had the blood clot, they had to give me an epidural, which was quite funny trying to get out of bed after that. Bailey Newton. Yeah, good man. You didn't do it a good enough job, though, so you ain't getting paid. But yeah, there's no way that I could ever see that bruise being actually genuine. There might have been a bruise there underneath, but...
Well, you don't know what he hit.
Or what hit him.
Yeah.
Well, it'd more likely to be a car. It was on the road. So it wasn't a mountain bike he was riding.
Well, there is a possibility that it was a square line because it wasn't a creative in that case.
Yeah, I remember that one loafer, Spinal Tap on tour. Evening, Lodger. Where are you this week then, mate? Somewhere nice and sunny?
Spain.
Doesn't say. He will do. Cape Verde. Yeah, nice. Yeah, well, we'll be in Cumbria.
Nice.
Nice. What's all this fucking 11 in the chat? What?
Spinal Tap. The amplifier goes up to 11.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah, I'm trying not to be too talkative tonight with my throat. I'm just going through what you're saying on there. I said my little bit at the beginning. Unfortunately, Paul, Pierce and I, abusing their powers, probably won't be with us tonight. He did drop a comment earlier that unfortunately CJ's been remanded for filming. And that's how bad Northern Ireland's got. They're just arresting you for filming. We know they do it here. I mean, there was somebody got stopped the other day just because the police considered he was walking too fast. Would you believe? So walking too fast was suspicious.
If that applies, then I can get done for walking too slow.
Yeah, too slow in the fast lane. Yeah, they're a good bunch of lads over there, Gary. Very good bunch of lads, and the police do harass them quite a bit. Quite a bit. But there again, this is what we're going to get with Labour. You know, they will not want people questioning the narrative. They will not want people questioning authority. You know, this is what a totalitarian state is like. Socialists. They will be bringing in new laws, I expect. Evening, Stuart, mate. You know, the police here do push it. Who was it? One of the auditors got arrested the other day. Ash. I did see one of his. You know, I don't follow a lot of the auditors, as you know. I've said that. But he got arrested for saying nothing. He didn't engage with the police. He didn't engage with anybody. But literally, because he wouldn't talk to them, they arrested him. Using the Section 50 bullshit, behaviour likely to cause a breach of the peace. He hadn't done any of that. He has an absolute right to stay silent, but their egos got the better of him and they arrested him for it. So
it comes to something, sorry, Larry. When it comes to something, when keeping stum becomes a crime.
Yeah, well, they perceive it as a crime. It doesn't become a crime. They get butthurt because you won't talk to them. They seem to forget that you don't have to talk to them. You don't even have to give your details over, even if you're arrested, until you get to the desk, if you don't want to. Which, to me, is a way to go. Because if they've got to arrest you to get your details for no crime, then you've instantly got a case against them for unlawful detention. Because then if you haven't committed a crime or you're not suspected of a crime, they've got no reason to ask for your ID and your details. Same as if you get stopped and searched. If they've got found something on you and they arrest you for it, that's when you would be lawfully have to give your details. Up until then, you don't have to. It will go that way, Loafer. That's the way they'll punish people. And it will be done without you knowing. It will be just all of a sudden you'll go to access your bank or access to buy something, and boom, there'll be nothing there. And if the Conservatives got back in with this silly fucking national service, I think that's the way they'd punish people for not signing up. Because they said they wouldn't jail them, but they didn't say they wouldn't initiate any other punishments. And he keeps saying, oh, a lot of the young kids want it. Absolute load of bollocks. Because if they wanted that sort of thing, they'd join the army, wouldn't they? You wouldn't do national service voluntary. You'd go and join the fucking army. You'd join the regulars.
Well, there was a kid on telly the other day going, "Oh yes, I think national service is a good idea. I would do it." I'd wanted to turn around and said, "Are you going to go and sign up then? Are you going to go voluntarily and do it,
Yeah.
or only if it becomes compulsory?"
This is the thing. They will. Well, it'll probably be dismissed anyway because Labour will be in, won't they? So Gary needs a second-hand tent. Yes, you do, Moo. And there was a woman, I think it was, that got arrested in lockdown. She actually kept quiet for, I think it was well over 24 hours, even when she was in the cell. And they had to let her go without getting her details. They couldn't do anything but. No lawful thing of the way of holding her because she hadn't done anything. Nathan, good evening, mate. Yeah, arrested for praying silently in your head, yet they can kneel down in the middle of the fucking road and start praying, holding up traffic and not a fucking thing's done. Yeah, there's probably a lot of people out there that could say the same, Loafer. And there's probably also a lot of ladies could say that they've been arrested for an offensive husband. But yes, he did, Stuart. He did. He started posting again now, by the way. Panaki and a couple of the old ones. There was another one. Oh, see. Current climate. I don't quite know what's happened to him. I haven't seen him up there for ages. But yeah, you've got an absolute right to stay silent, even through a court case.
Can I just tell them my name's Mrs. W?
Yeah, that'd probably confuse them. But yeah, I'd never give them it unless they've actually arrested me. That's the only time they'd get it. And if they came up with the right section on a traffic stop. I've had that many a time in the past when I was younger. Under the 163, we want your details. Now, under 163, you can fuck right off. You're getting nothing. If you can't quote the law that you want to check my details under, then you don't get to see my details. Simple as. But this is what we're up against with a minute. They'll stop you. They'll pull you over. They'll stop you in the street. And the first thing they got to do is conflab with their little device to see if they can do anything. You know, the days of actually stopping and arresting people for committing a crime are long gone. Yeah, these little saps haven't got the fucking brains to put the uniform on, let alone use it. GPS. Oh dear. But again, apparently we've got a load of Vietnamese on the way, or Koreans or something that are coming over the channel. Don't look like them when they're getting off the boats. Unless they change their appearance to look like middle-aged Middle Eastern men.
They're the ones that are coming over in the back of wagons and things like that.
Yeah, containers. They're the ones that were already dead when they get here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be on late tonight, Loafer, with my throat. It's I mean, I did get a few hours kip last night. I did have a lay-in this morning. But that buggered me up for later in the morning when my muscles started cramping up again. So I know I've got some more treatment due when that sort of thing starts happening. The more the merrier. Yeah, so they brought up the one again, didn't they, about the, how many of them was it that were suffocated in the back of the lorry? This mainstream media pushing that narrative. I mean, if you look at all the videos, none of them are actually coming across the channel. They're actually coming in by other means, which we've already said. It's only that the channel gets seen easily. But the thing is that they're getting on the beaches. The French police, once they're in the water, the French police won't touch them. Big bird watching. But yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. So they keep saying they're working with the French to stop it. And the French are doing next to nothing. Oh, they're getting everywhere, Loafer. I mean, the daughter's husband, they come back from France backwards and forwards regular with the lorries. They do move in and stuff like that all over Europe. I believe they're off to Spain. So I think it's next week. And he said that they check the wagons regular. They all have to be locked. You know, they'll slash the sides to get in and bloody all sorts. You will miss one or two. Some of the bigger lorries have probably got them on board. They don't know, but it's still the lorry driver that gets into trouble for it, which is wrong. You know, somebody else commits the crime, but they're the ones that get told off for it and get fined. That's just wrong. They are, Bailey, in France, they are dragging drivers out the cabs and giving them a beating. There are videos of it out there. Obviously, YouTube won't let them show. Because don't forget, anything with even slightest bit of violent content gets covered up. Evening, Fluffy Bunny, keep forgetting. Cheers, Moo. I get enough of that off of Craig, me mate.
My Fluffy Bunny.
Fluffy Bunny. Not so fluffy anymore.
I don't know.
Might look like a bit like one if I got Mexi like, but... But don't forget now, there'll be a jab out soon for bird flu, so anybody that's that way inclined can always go and get that. Apparently, this is only allegedly what I've heard, that that one is on its way. I'm betting on RoboKey. Oh, she's still there, mate. She's still well, she's asleep on the arm of the chair at the moment. Yeah. You want? Would you? Oh, sorry. Did I disturb you? Did I disturb you?
How very dare you give her first?
Oh, that's... Right, this is not a porn thing or anything. I'm just trying to see if we can do a pussy cam. You watch the fucking stream disappear. There's a little pussy cat.
Will you stop showing my pussy on the internet?
No, I'll show your pussy everywhere I want. Yeah, she does recharge, and she's getting old like me. She struggles to get about and whatever, don't you? Yeah. Unless you want some food or something, then you'll quite happily jump around, won't you?
I was
Right,
going to say it's amazing how high she jumps for ham.
Bite me? No. She's being vicious now. Don't bite me. No. Oh, come on. Put a bit of effort into it. That's better. Yeah, you nearly fell off then, didn't you? I'll wind you up. I'll wind you up. Oi! I do antagonise her.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know
There
why
you are. I'll
she
give you
has
some
to
fuss.
go.
I'll give you some fuss. There you go, see. Enhance your calm. Yeah, I'm always fighting with pussy. And yeah. It's the furry assassin. Oh, we got squirrels that come up and down the fence in the garden, and you got the birds out there as well. And she sits there looking at them, and she hasn't got a fucking open hell of trying to even get near catching one of them. Have you? Like furry tits.
What?
Sorry, did I wind you up, little buddy? Hey? Do you love me again now? Come back to sleep. Oh, we pussy whisperer. Hello. Well, I do meeting the local cats. They used to come up and come to me for a bit of fuss when I was out in the garden when she wasn't about. Even the little timid one from next door starting to come up for the odd stroke or two now. Look, pussies everywhere.
I wouldn't put it out too loudly that you go round fondling the neighbour's pussy.
No, that does sound a bit bad, doesn't it? Especially when one of them's owned by a bloke called Stuart. Mind you, I haven't seen little Ollie for a long time. Yeah, there's loads of cats around here, Karen. Luckily enough, most of them won't come in the garden if she's in the window. But again, she can't chase them. She's just too slow. But they remember when she could. It does, not very loudly, unless it wants feeding, Bailey. No, you used to have one, a ginger and white one that used to come up in the workshop. There was another black and white one like her. There was one that's jet black. The one next door, she did have two. There only seems to be one left now. That one's a little black one. We did have a white one that used to come wandering around, but I haven't seen that one for ages. I think everybody should have a pussy on the lap. Notice I said on the lap, not in the lap. Oh dear. Sorry about that coughing, folks. It's starting to get warm as well now.
It wasn't the cough that carried him off, it was the coffee.
Bloody lines out there again. It's fucking ridiculous. They can't be natural. Let's see if this works. Right, we'll put that one on for a minute. Got that. And that one on that release. There we go. There should be enough. Enough cable there. I mean, when you look out there, I mean, you know, all those have only just started to appear since the normal clouds have gone. Yeah. Everything going in different fucking directions now. To me, that is not natural. In fact, I'd say far from it. But that's the way it looks every morning. It's clear, then it starts out like that, and then all of a sudden you've got cloud cover. Oh, pardon me.
I don't think we should.
No, they're not, Johnny. Far from it. I mean, I know what natural clouds look like. I used to know which ones were which types, but I've never seen anything like that over the years. But it is the new normal, yeah. Absolutely. Oh, struggling to breathe, eh? Well, the thing is, if they were using aluminium particles originally, this is back in the 60s for cloud seeding, but that was only to drag moisture out of existing clouds. That was cloud seeding to make it rain. You know, this is something completely different. Yeah, we know clouds are made out of moisture. It's condensed. But why all of a sudden do they want to start actually constructing them? You know, it's not as if we get absolutely cloudless skies every day of the year here in the UK, is it? I mean, our weather is very, very changeable. What's that blue thing behind them? Yeah, no, we don't see it very often, do we? UFOs releasing space fluid. Yeah, but we've had the space chickens up there for a long time. You know, I used to talk to them. They used to tell me what was going on, but they disappeared. So whether they've been bribed, I'm not quite sure. But it will be interesting to see if they leave it a clear sky Friday night. Did you have a look to see what time moonrise was on Friday?
No.
Oh, fucking hell. But, yeah, you know, everybody's going on about it. But I can see why. And the fact that the Met, I think it was, actually admitted, well, somebody said they'd admitted that it was happening, so. Oh, I'd welcome them, Jen. I'd welcome them. You know, come and tell us what you've been telling the government.
We want Friday, don't we?
Space bird flu got them all. Well, yeah, I mean, if it's bird flu, it could fly, couldn't it, mate? Bark at the Moon, Aussie, yeah. But yeah, it's, you know, that you say in the world around us, everything's changed, and the skies have as well. You know, we got so many satellites up there. I mean, it is frightening with the shit they've got up there. Welsh Paul, good evening. What's in these chemtrails? Well, that's what everybody wants to know, Paul.
About 10 past 10 on this.
Well, that's moonrise, 10 past 10 in the evening.
Moonrise, 10 past 10 on Friday.
Right. So during your live, I may be out there filming if it's clear then. So I'll take the big camera out. Well, we're all being probed, aren't we? Well, shafted anyway, Moo, by the fucking government. Eating fries, day fries. Well, I don't need to go anywhere, Gary, because if I want some, I've got loads of chocolate. But I've been really good with it, trying to leave it alone. Yes, Loafer, they did. They overdid it, and they admitted that they'd been seeding for 2 days beforehand. Because nothing was happening, they carried on doing it. And that was the result. I had 2 people send me footage more or less live of what was going on over there and how it was coming down. You know, the lightning storm around it as well. And absolutely, they brought that on themselves. And personally, I reckon that this is what's happening around the world with these floods. Yeah, a lot of them supercars, Loafer, they've been just left in garages and lockups by people that have deserted the place. Businessmen have bought them. It was too costly to insure them, too costly to bring them back with them. So they just abandoned them. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Maseratis, all sorts. Just totally abandoned. It's a shame, but don't walk in Ireland. Sorry, I had to point that out. Yeah, there's who was it? Somebody did a video where they were out there. I can't remember who it was now. Just how many of the supercars. Oh, that was it. It was a recovery company out there that was going round for the insurance company and collecting all these hypercars and supercars. I mean, personally, those sort of motors have never interested me. I don't particularly like Ferraris. They're just a status symbol now, those sort of motors, as far as I'm concerned. It's not an offence to put one foot in front of the other. Won't be for long, Gary. It won't be long before it is, mate.
Well, you've said that copper that guy got arrested for walking too fast.
Yeah. They thought, oh, he must have been a shoplifter because he's trying to walk away quick.
Not that he's rushing for a bus.
Give me a Chevy any day. I'd actually prefer a Mopar car. The Dodge. Far better engine. I mean, the Pontiac motors were pretty good, but most of them were too big and heavy. But the Mopar engines, oh yes. I don't know whether it's still going, but there was an excellent place. I think it was Edmonton in London. Edmonton Performance Warehouse or something it was called. Literally, it was a guy who used to go over to America twice a year, and they just used to go around the scrap yards, gas cut engines and gearbox out of them, fill up containers and ship them back, strap them to pallets, put them out in a warehouse, and they'd be sold over here with all the, you know, the kits to service them and rebuild them and that, the gasket kits and shit. And we picked up quite a few decent engines in there for quite cheap back in the day as well. The big white Pontiac, the picture that I've quite often showed on here, that was a 6. What was it? It was a 6.6 litre, 400 cubic inch, which I blew that up. Went up to the Edmonton Corvette Centre, this place, to look for another engine, and actually found one of their Super Duty 455s, which is a little over 7.2 litres, 7.4 litre. So I took that one instead. But, you know, trying to run something that will only do 6 miles a gallon over here it just wouldn't be feasible at the moment. It wasn't back then, but I could afford it then. The insurance for anybody, Paul, is a joke now. I can remember when it used to go down every year. I mean, one of my policies used to cover me for any motorbike up to 1340cc. And because of the Pontiac, which was the biggest one I had, it would cover me on any car up to 7.4 litre. And that was only costing me £136 a year, fully comprehensive. Even when I didn't have a big car or a big bike, I kept it going simply because of the price. Because I could drive any car, any motorbike on that, even turbo or supercharged. Because I let it lapse by one day before renewing it, they wouldn't honour it. And that was a day I had to step forward and spend, I think it was over 600 quid from 136. That was quite a few years ago by, you know.
Back in the fact it was £1 then.
Yeah. Well, see, we're not that far from the town, Jem, but we've got no bus route here. And the same as us, if we didn't have a car, we'd be screwed because neither of us would be able to get to the centres for shopping. No public, and we would be relying on taxis, which are extortionate.
I'd have to get a taxi to the bus stop to get me to the train station.
Yeah, but they're scrapping that, Paul. They're scrapping a lot of the 20-mile-an-hour ones in Wales now. I mean, there are a lot of cities in England that are trying to bring it in. I agree with it in certain areas. We've got 3 schools literally all within stone's throw of each other here. And it's 20 mile an hour all round here, but only around the schools, which I totally agree with. Absolutely. When you've got youngsters coming out onto the street at the beginning or the end of the day, you've got them getting out of mother's car, running across the road. We have had a few of them knocked down.
Kids killed out there.
They did put speed humps in, and then, excuse me, that's when it became a 20-mile-an-hour limit. Personally, it's one of the places I'd like to actually see a speed camera out here. Because the speed they come down this road at by the school is ridiculous.
They only end up nicking the coppers.
Yeah, but they're exempt if they're on blues and twos. So. And that's the only time they come down this road now. Yeah, well, this is the thing. It's actually creating more pollution in the villages and the small towns, isn't it, Jen? Because the cars are there for longer, they're going slower, and an engine runs more efficiently at a higher rate than 20 miles an hour. I mean, it used to be the most efficient speed or average speed, and that I last looked into, it was around 45 to 50 mile an hour. But with these new modern engines, I dare say that's changed. And the thing is, you know, they cause traffic queues and that with speed restrictions, lane closures. Well, obviously, cars going slower, more pollution. And by putting in restrictions around towns and cities, all they're doing is moving it to the outside of the city. So it achieves nothing. I used to go everywhere on my bike round here, Karen, but due to me illness now, I can't. It's, wish you away on the Triumph. I used to love my old Triumph Desert Fox. I used to love it, man. I'd much prefer to have that than a modern Japanese one, that's for sure. We had a trike in the back garden for quite some time, Jen. It had a 750 Honda engine in it. It wasn't a tricycle. It was a trike bike. Evening, Graham. I did have a Goldwing, Gary, for a very brief amount of time. It was a rat bike, though. I turned up at one of the Goldwing rallies, and they even turned me away and gave me my membership back once they saw the state of my bike, which was quite amusing. Yeah, I mean, considering the chairman of the or the leader, or they called him, of the Goldwing Owners Club was some high up officer in the Met Police or something. That they didn't appreciate this dirty, scruffy, long-haired hooligan turning up on this total horrible-looking, noisy, smoky thing. The Bonneville. Well, that was the Bonneville was the name that was given to the Tiger line. So there was a Tiger 90, Tiger 100, Tiger 120, T140, and that actually became the Bonneville. And then you had the triple, the Trident, Trident, not Triton, the Trident. The Tiger 90 was actually a 350. Oh, there was a Tiger 80 as well back in the 30s and 40s. That was a 350 single cylinder. I'm taking me because it's on the 50. I'll tell you what, Gary, some of them little old Hondas are worth a lot of money now, the little SS50 and things like that. And the old Yamaha FS1Es and
Fizzy.
I mean, I went the other way. I used to have a Gilera because it was easier to put a schoolboy motocross engine in it. Because they had motocross bikes back then. You wouldn't get into your leather now, would you?
I can get into it, I just can't get it done
Wouldn't
up.
get it done up, yeah. Yeah, the new Triumphs Moo, they are more like Japanese bikes now. There is one company that the AP50 with a micron. Yeah. All them pipes were for noise, Graham. There's no tuning in them. Yeah, the only one still doing the Triumphs is the Matisse, as it's called, and they're still using and reconditioning old Triumph engines, and they're building very, very, very similar to the Steve McQueen Desert Racing replica, which is quite a nice bike, to be honest. It's a lovely looking bike. You can get them with other engines in. You can specify your own engine spec in them because they build them to custom order. I mean, if you want a BSA engine in, you can get a BSA Matisse, but Triumph engine is the usual one. And it's usually the 500 or the 650 speed twin. But they did actually do a 400 version of it, which was developed for motocross back in the 60s, scrambling as it was called back then. Yeah, that was the Fastback 500 GT 500, Graham, in Bullet. It was the forerunner of the one that was in the latest version of Gone in 60 Seconds. The original Gone in 60 Seconds was filmed with a Mach 1 Mustang, a fastback, but it wasn't the GT 500. Came off a KTM. 650. What was that then? That was must have been one of the cross-country ones rather than a motocrosser. Because the only ones that got 2 strokes up to that sort of size was Mako, I believe. Oh, Husqvarna did one as well. Yeah, the GT 500 Shelby variant. I mean, I dare say I could probably still ride a bike, but it would hurt. You wait till you've ridden a drag bike then, Gary. You're on a bike that does 0 to a ton in less than a second and a half. That's when you know that your shoulders are being ripped out. Actually had one of them, Karen. In fact, let's see if I can find it. Because I've got a picture of it somewhere with my sister and one of my girlfriends at the time. I don't know how well this is going to show up because it's quite an old photograph. Let's see how that looks. There you go. And that actually was a 650 Triumph engine in that. And funny enough, that's my old Jalera in the background there as well. Several other bikes and bits in the shed. But that was, hello, where's my bloody cursor gone now? There it is. I mean, that was one of the outfits. Yeah, the Fireblades were pretty quick. I preferred the FZR myself, but all right, Graham, cheers for dropping in, mate. Have a good night, buddy. I know you never drop in for long, so don't even worry about that. But yeah, I owned several Triumphs in the past. Everything from a little Tiger Cub right up to the 650. Yeah, you used to call them the cattle, didn't they, Lodger? You get the 380 version as well, the water-cooled one. Yeah, the R1. Everybody's going. I mean, a mate of mine from back home now he's actually got a Hayabusa. Yes, the Slingshot Desert Fox, yeah. The 1100, the original one, which the 1995 one, that was basically the fastest production road bike at the time until the VMAX came along. MZ250. Yeah, that's worse than the CZ move. The old 250 with the push the gear pedal in and pull it over, and that was actually the kickstart as well. Oh, pardon me. What are we doing on time? Nearly up our state. Mine was a Tomahawk. A rally Tomahawk, was that, Jen? The Chipper, the Tomahawk, the Chopper, and the Grifter, wasn't it? Well, the Tomahawk State, Gary. Oh, it's just getting a bit dark in this corner now.
It's getting a bit cold as well tonight.
Oh, I'm not cold, but it will cool down because there's no cloud cover, so it will cool down. Those lines are just starting to dissipate now. That. I've got plenty of push bikes out in the workshop, Karen. I've even got an old step-through ladies' bike with I think they're 27-inch wheels with the old pull-back handlebars. I actually rebuilt it. All it needs is a new saddle. But you'd have to be about 6'2", I think it is, to ride it. It's a big frame, a big tall frame, 23-inch. Yeah. Yeah, but I did say rally before it, Steve. But yeah, we do have to watch what we say now. Obviously, once Labour, mind you, it's still not certain that Labour are going to win, but that's the way it's heading. But you can guarantee there'll be a load of new laws coming in from them. Twist grip gear move. But there were mopeds with that as well. NSU had the 2-speed one. And what was that green and cream thing? Oh, fucking hell. I can't remember what it was called now. It was a short name. But that had a 3-speed twist grip. The name will come to me.
I had that on my push bike.
The Pooch. That was it. The Pooch. Green and cream one that was a step through, but it actually had a petrol tank, and that had a twist grip 3-speed on it. The NSU had 2. This year's protection officer has been arrested for election interference.
In the Butch Maxi.
Well, they haven't had the election yet, so I don't know how that's working. No, the Pooch Maxi was a step through single speed. This one was a 3-speed twist grip. Put him in the wood chipper. Smith. Yeah, what was, I can't remember what model it was now. That most of them were like a pale green and cream colour. I can't remember the model, but I remember it was a Pooch. And the as I said, the other one was a twin speed, and that was actually a step through as well. I just can't remember. I can see the bloody thing in my head. My mate had one. She used to ride it round his mum's field. But it was definitely a Pooch. P-U-C-H.
Yeah. The only thing that's coming up is an Maxi.
No, it weren't a Maxi. Let me have a look. No, that's not what I wanted. Was it the VZ50? That was similar to that. That was 1978. They were a bit earlier than that. So I'm just trying to... Oh, what the fuck? That's the only one that's coming up, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. But it did look a bit more like that than the Pooch Maxi, which was a step through. Let's go on images, trying to find... Maybe it was that one, and I'm remembering it wrong. It certainly weren't the Maxi. I can't see if that one's got twist grip gears on it or not.
Oh well, doesn't matter.
More like that one there, which is the early VZ50. So yeah, it may well have been the earlier one then. But I seem to remember it having a different fuel tank to that. There's the Maxi, the little step-through job. That was like a Honda PC50. But why is that none coming up in the classic factory colours? It may have well been the VZ then. But yeah, I can always remember that one.
Might have been.
Pooch 1984. No, it was before 1984. Moo. I mean, for me, I was, what, probably 12, 13. So you're looking at 71, 72, and they were quite old then. So they were probably from the late 60s, mid 60s. Let's see if I can. Let's see if it comes up with anything with that one. Images. There it is.
Oh yeah, that looks good. And
that was 71 3-speed, the Pooch MS50D. There you go.
I see now.
Peugeot did one the same, so it looks like it was quite a common. And it was it Swedish?
Austrian.
Austrian.
Putch is Austrian.
And there you go. That's the one. I was going to say they were quite old when we had it, because my mate just had it as a field bike. But there you go. I learned something else today because I could never remember what model it was. Yeah. I mean, a good SS50 or a good Fizzy. The Fizzies are the most popular ones now, Gary. And hello, why is it saying live in red up there on the clock? That doesn't normally happen.
Well, you are live.
Yeah, I know I'm live. But the clock isn't normally a red one, is it? It's like highlighted in red up there. Weird. But yeah, a good Fizzy now in perfect, more or less showroom condition, you'd still pay a couple of grand for it, Gary, believe it or not. I mean, Christ, they were in the hundreds new back in the day. I mean, we went to the shooting show at the NEC a couple of years back here in Brum, and they had a couple of old bikes in there that obviously come from the museum. One of them was an old BSA A10. And I was looking around it, and there was no price tag on it. It weren't for sale. It was just there as a showpiece. And I was chatting to the woman who actually run the display. And I said, well, what's that thing worth nowadays? I said, because I used to have one of them. And she said, how much did you pay for it? And I said, well, I think I gave a mate about 250 quid for it back in the day. She said, well, you'd be quite shocked now to know that one there, it's not in perfect nick. She said, but if that was being sold, we'd expect it to reach between 10 and 12,000 pounds. I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? I said, complete with the oil leak. She said, yeah, complete with the oil leak. I'm like, for fuck's sake. You know, I mean, I think they were only just over a grand, brand new back in the day, or even less than a grand.
Yeah, but that was nearly a year's salary.
It was. But we did, Heather took me to the motorcycle museum here. We've got one not that far away. And yeah, it was nice to walk around there. And so many bikes in there I'd either owned or have ridden. And there was even a couple of old-time drag bikes in there, which I remember watching them run at the pod. But there was a lot of the old Nortons right up to the rotary racing bikes. Obviously, I was more interested in the race bikes and the road bikes that were there. But yeah, that was an interesting afternoon. Just wandering around, having a look at them for a few hours. Funny, and it's up by the NEC, wasn't it?
It is by the NEC.
It is by the NEC. Yeah, I seem to remember it being up that way. Yeah, they're still worth a lot of money now, Gary. A lot of people restore them. They did try to bring out a new version, which didn't go down too well. But well, I used to ride a drag bike, loafer, and it didn't wear a dress either and makeup either. It was quite an evil looking thing. You know, again, I'm going back to the late 70s, mid to late 70s. You know, they're nothing like the ones that you're getting out there now. I mean, what we had, especially built race bikes and drag bikes back then, you'd get street bikes walking all over them now. But yeah, Gary, the chopper push bikes, you'll find them on auction, and look at that, you'll be horrified at the price they go for, I tell you. And not just to collectors, to people that actually want to ride them. The only time I've actually been to the NEC itself, Gary, was for the shooting show. You invented chopper, though the gears are in the wrong place. Yeah, it was Raleigh that used to build them. And the hub that was used for the split 3-speed gear was actually the same as in most Raleigh push bikes, just built into a smaller rim. It was what they called a centre pull gear shift. So you could use a clicker lever, the big lever in the middle that would have your nuts off. What, Birdie? Yeah, oldest swingers in town, mate. Yeah, all good here, buddy. I've got a bit of a sore throat, and I think I've got a bit of a chest infection at the moment, which is great for the week before we go on fucking holiday. But
that makes perfect sense. All good here, except I'm broke.
Yeah. I'm always broke in one way or the other. Yeah, the Grifter, Gary, that was Raleigh's attempt at something like a BMX bike. It was a piece of shite. I actually went the other way. I had what was called a Mobo at the time. It looked like a bit like a chopper, the Raleigh chopper, but the wheels were of equal size. It was a bit more stable to ride, and it actually had 5-speed derailleur gears. Although the gear shift was in the same place as on a chopper. And yes, it would take your nuts off if you'd crashed it. It's that, isn't it? It's that, Beardy. Yeah, they were boily. They were all steel construction. Back then, there wasn't many alloy frames around back then. A lot of the BMX bikes were steel as well at the time, but they were a bit lighter than them. Yeah, it's getting there, Beardy. I did give it a bit of a trim up to encourage it to grow again the other day. But I'll get it to a letter. It'd be more like fucking Rasputin, wouldn't it? But then I can part it, I can put plaits in it, and then I can look like Ming. Yeah, you couldn't wheelie a grifter, Steve. The geometry was wrong on them. The sunroof, yeah. Oh, and it had a long way to go for ZZ Top, Missy. My original beard years ago was more like ZZ Top because I had the hair to go with it. But and I've also been merciless. Merciless. Yeah, that's how we used to build most of ours, Mo. We used to go up the local council tip. drag all the frames and bits that were thrown away off the tip, and we'd bring them home and build them and then take them out and wreck them on a Saturday. And then you go up there Sunday, build another one, rip a load of new ones out and build another one for the following week. You know, there weren't any BMX bikes back in my day. You had full-size frames. Used to build what they called clunkers. And if you actually look that up, that's where downhill biking started, by the likes of Gary Fisher and people like that, doing what they call clunker racing. And they still do it in certain areas, but that was the original. That's where mountain bikes came from, as it were. It was easy top. Well, there's only 2 of them left now in the original group. Yeah, well, Billy is getting on, Loafer. They are still gigging, but obviously without Frank. Interestingly enough, the only one that didn't have a beard was the one that was called Beard. Yeah, put a 24-inch wheel on a 26-inch frame, Gary. Yeah, absolutely. And funny enough, they used to do that on the proper downhill bikes for a little while. Fitted the 24-inch to the back and the 26-inch to the front. But most of them now have gone 28 and 29-inch. You can also get the 27.5. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the first thing you used to take off them back in the day were brakes. Yeah, the old soapbox carts. Used to make them with the pram wheels, Karen. First 2 litre was a hand cart. Well, I can actually... where are we? You know, I used to have all these bloody things sorted out. Well, actually... There you go. And that was me on one of my first ever bikes. Chubby little fucker or what? And I believe that was... Where was that taken? That had to be Cemetery Road in Abingdon at the back of the MG factory. Yes, I did have hair. But yeah, that was one of my first ever bikes. That's where it all started. Jesus, the crowd chat shot up there. Yeah, always with a bell. My ramp was used to be built out of my mum's kitchen stall with a plank up it. And I kind of squashed that on a landing. Can you bring me another can of Coke in when you come in, bud?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I take it you mean Stuka there, Beardy. The Junkers 87. Yeah, we used to have, I had well, funny enough, it was one of the early push bikes with front suspension. It was actually a Rudge one, and it was from 1938. Thank you, sir. Would you believe? And that was what they called leading link forks with 2 rubber bands, and that was the first one I ever had with suspension on. Nobody had even seen one before. But yeah, I mean, you know, you see these posts on Facebook. You know, parents never realised how far we used to ride our bikes back in the day when we went out, and they didn't. I mean, we lived the little village where I was brought up in, probably 10 miles from Oxford. Now, the nearest motocross shop was out the other side of Oxford, which was probably another 3 miles, a place called Garsington. And they were horrified to find out as a 12-year-old that I'd ridden all the way up there to get a peek for my crash helmet, you know. Evening, Scott. Don't worry about being late, mate. I don't know how long I'm going to be on tonight anyway, so I've got a bit of a sore throat and shit, but I'm getting by at the moment. First wheelie followed by the face plant. Yeah, I did lose quite a few teeth through that. But yeah, I mean, we used to think nothing of riding 10 mile. And some of the wrecks we used to do that on with no brakes. If you needed a brake, it was your foot on the front tyre. And we had some tremendous hills round our way, and that used to go horribly wrong. There was one in particular, what was it, Boars Hill, which was in between the village and Oxford. Now, if you could be bothered to pedal up the other side of it and ride across the 2 miles, as it was, I think it was, across the top, the ride down the other side was absolutely tremendous. A little bit of a pedal to get it going. You could quite easily get a regular push bike up to 40, 45 mile an hour, which was absolutely brilliant until you come to the bends at the bottom. There was many, one of the local lads come to grief there. Hold on, there's just a banger end of the plank. Yeah, I mean, it's the only time I'd worn out tyres, believe it or not, was back then. I used to change my mountain bike ones regular before they got worn out because obviously we were racing. But back then, if you had a back brake and you locked it up, that was it. It didn't have a flat spot. You just went straight through the canvas and into the inner tube, and that was it. Bang, wasn't it? And the wheels didn't stand up to much either. You want one of these, Gary? If you dive bombing, you just hold the button and hold one of they above your head and let them fly into it. Cat doesn't like it. Oh, she's over there now, is she?
Yeah, I've got meat.
Oh, she's got some meat. Is she eating, puss? You're looking at me, look. The furry assassin's getting paid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we used to have ways of sorting out the seagull's loafer, but it's cruel. Coombe Martin. Just up the road from Bury Narber then. Yes. I've stopped at Bury Narber quite a few times. down the 100 steps to the beach. And the pub, what was the name of the pub up in Bury Narber, up in the hill there? The Globe we used to go to. Yes, it is quite near the sea, Carl. Combe Martin has actually got a little harbour. It's quite a nice little town, actually. You're very down. Yes. Well, I know Bury Narber because there's a little caravan park that used to be there that had fishing lakes in. So we used to go fishing in the lakes. Paul, he's at his mum and dad's. He's spending a lot of time looking after them at the moment. He has done a live and explained. Obviously, his mum's had surgery, and his dad's not in the best of health. So he's spending most of his time looking after those at the moment down in Essex. He does post on Facebook. You can find him on there. But that's where he is at the moment. He did pop up with a live. Obviously, he has to nip home now and again. He is looking to move down there permanently, as most people know. But when he does pop home, he does try and put out a live if he's not too knackered. I usually have to drop out early because it's a chance he gets to have a drink and then he's on there till 4 a.m. And I just can't do that anymore. I think he is beardy. I mean, if he can sort a place out there quick enough, I think it will be moved back. I mean, he's moving back down there anyway. He's just trying to find a place. But I think it'll do him better if he can find one sooner than later. Yes, Crime Bodge is back. He has been putting videos up, but again, a lot of it is to do not like Dan does with reporting the actual coppers. It's more like to point out, as he's always done, pointing out the law where they went wrong and going through cases. And also, he is still fighting cases in court for various people. He did win one the other day. So obviously he can't say a lot about them because they're live cases. It can prejudice the case. Same as Dan, that's why he couldn't, after he got arrested that time, he couldn't post anything about it until after the case had either been dismissed or dropped, because it can prejudice your case and you can lose cases because of it. Yeah, Crime Bodge is a more serious one, Loafer. He does know quite a bit about the law. He has written books on it. Resist has been doing a lot of filming, Jen. He's been putting a lot of videos out lately. Not just for himself, he has been filming for other people as well. Why, Loafer?
Well.
But if you go to Resist, I do put the link under the videos each day for Resist channel. So if you want to catch up with him, go and look at him on there. He is holding the powers that be to account, shall we say, for himself and on behalf of other people. I think you're muted, Loafer. You're muted, mate.
Oh, bloody hell. I think it's my levels, Roger. I'll pop that.
Yeah, that was it. It did come up as muted and it's unmuted now.
All right. Yeah. If Bearded's still there, true to me promise, look what I went and bought the other day. Well, a couple of weeks back. 1916 Motorhead.
Ooh, yeah, that's the original one with Filthy Phil and that then.
No, yeah, Phil was still in the band then. He'd left and come back when they had Phil Campbell and Wurzel, two guitarists.
Mm.
It's an absolute banger of an album. Every single track is absolutely brilliant, especially the last one. And just in case, I entered a prize draw on somebody else. Am I all right to shill for another channel? I mean, I don't know if people are interested. But,
whose channel is it? Yes, civil disobedience is back, Paul. But backyard bullying.
Yeah, I entered a prize draw and I won this on at the doormat the other day. 10-ounce board bar of silver. Yeah, it's Edinburgh assay marks and everything. It's legit. It's about 230 quid's worth.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm just answering Paul there. Yeah, civil disobedience. He is posting, but most of his posts, when he does do them, are personal videos, not the sort of stuff he used to do. The police are still harassing him over shit. And obviously, after the last case, he can't afford to get into any more trouble, basically. Oh, thank you, YouTube. Now you tell me I'm live at 9 o'clock when I went live 2 hours ago. Yeah, brilliant. Bunch of dickheads. Sorry. Just venting my opinion on YouTube there. Yeah, we used to meet up with Motorhead down at the Queen's Studio down in Monmouth when they were recording down there. Used to drink in the bar across the road at the Queen's Hotel. That was where Phil ripped the cupboard off the wall. Somebody locked his sticks in the cupboard, and rather than ask for the key, he just ripped the cupboard off the fucking wall and went in through the back of it. And it was it. They did knock somebody out there as well. Well, it weren't a fight; it was just a swing. Jimmy Percy from Sham 69, because Phil used to have the leather with Motorhead on the back, and Jimmy Percy walked in and said, "Who the fuck are Motorhead?" Phil turned around and dropped him and said, "I am, you little cunt." That was one of my memories from there.
Filthy had a terrible sense of, both a bad sense of, really good sense of humour. He was called King of Comedy, weren't he?
But
Phil,
he had a bad temper.
But a bad temper, yeah.
Very, very bad temper at times, especially if you hid any of his kit or anything like that. He used to have a right hissy fit. Lemmy, Paul, yeah, he was an absolute gent.
Yeah.
How the fuck he survived as long as he did with the drinking he used to do. But
Keith Richards from the Stones used to go and have his blood filtered because he'd taken so many substances. And when said, "Do you think it'd be a good idea for me to have my blood filtered?" And the doctor said, "No, it'll probably kill you."
That was Rick Allen, Gary. You're on about the one-armed drummer, yeah.
I saw Def Leppard at Donington in '86. The billing was absolutely brilliant. The top of the bill were Ozzy, Scorpions, Leopard, Motorhead, that stupid Channel 4 joke outfit, Bad News. They got bottled. They got really badly bottled. And Doro Pesh with her band Warlock, that were a banger. Motorhead are the only band that I've seen more than 4 or 5 times. I think I've seen 4 times at least. Saw them at Sheffield City Hall about 10 years ago when Mrs. were pregnant.
Oh, no,
the Mrs. was always complaining that the little lad doesn't
believe, mate.
Neither do I.
Well, last time I remember Donington is when AC/DC did their big set there. And it was it the same year that Whitesnake became officially the loudest band on stage or something? They held the record for a while.
Oh, right, yeah. That was when they had Steve Vai. They had Steve Vai touring with them at that point, didn't they? The ex-Frank Zappa guitarist.
But, God, you know, that was when a rock festival was a rock festival with rock bands, you know. Same as Reading used to be. That was a bit more diverse, but Donington, it was always Donington Festival, the Monsters of Rock, and they were all rock bands.
Yeah.
But you see what the shit they get there now. The download, is it they call it, I think?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton. Yeah, she was at fucking Glastonbury, wasn't she? I mean, Glastonbury's always been a bit diverse, but yeah, Dolly turned up and was on stage. I remember she did Glastonbury, I think it was as well.
The funniest thing I can remember about Glastonbury is when Jeremy Corbyn got up to do his speech. And in his speech, he said, "We need to build bridges, not walls." A concert surrounded by a 20-foot wall.
Oh, fuck me. I can remember Glastonbury when it was free. I was quite surprised when we got the job one year up there of doing fucking security and the money they were charging for tickets. I thought, what the hell? You know, this used to be free. I mean, I can remember Watchfield in Wiltshire when they had the one there.
You remember at Glastonbury, they used to ask all the revellers to leave the tents behind so that they could pack them up and send them to Africa.
Yeah, well, most of them
they don't have to send them that far anymore, do they? They've got tents on the banks of the Thames and the Liffey.
Yeah. I mean, Reading used to be the same. There used to be regular tents left there, and then they moved the site to the one down by the river, and then people started drowning in the fucking river. Stonehenge, Gary, that was just Stop Oil. They, a couple of them got in there spraying orange powder paint over a couple of the stones. I think they only done it today because they thought the paint might last. And of course, tomorrow night's the solstice up there. So
I've got my Roger Waters t-shirt on.
I've got one band t-shirt left, and that was quite a new one. It was the AC/DC Back in Black. Yeah, Gary, I mean, how they think they're going to get any support by doing what they do, these Just Stop Oil. They inconvenience normal people. They inconvenience people that want to see history. And these are the people that they want to support them, and they're pissing them off. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Roger Waters, his politics are all over the place, but the music's good. You can't fault him for that. It's same with this pillock in America that's going off now at the moment, Robert De Niro. Oh, please, just stick to acting, Bob, please.
Well, this is what you got with fucking this Taylor Swift bitch, isn't it? You know, I mean, they reckon her and her followers are affecting politics in America because of the amount of fans she's got. It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, what happened to the days when films like Monty Python's Life of Brian? Well, that was actually sponsored and paid for by Led Zeppelin, Jethro Tull, and a few other bands. They actually bankrolled the Monty Python films.
The major bankroller was, and he had a bit part in it, was Beatle. Oh, God, my memory, honestly. The quiet one, the quiet Beatle. What?
Yeah, Ringo.
Not Ringo, the guitarist, the quiet one.
George Harrison.
My memory, honestly, George Harrison, he actually had a bit part in it. And Spike Milligan was and all. He had a bit part.
Milligan was in there. Yes, Cara, Blazing Saddles was on again the other night on Freeview. But if you want the political correct version, there's a 30-second clip coming out. I think it's next week, and that is the whole film, where they've cut everything out that's offensive.
So it's lasted about a minute.
Yeah.
There's a great quote by Johnny Rotten, John Lydon. He said, "I remember a time where the left-wing people were the edgy ones poking fun at the establishment. Now it's the right. The left have become politically correct, twatty people going around ordering people how to think." I paraphrased it, but John Lydon actually said that. I couldn't believe it when I hate Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan were on telly and he were interviewing Nigel Farage. And he thought it'd be a good idea to have Nigel up as he introduced John, because he thought John had poked some fun at him. And John Lydon popped up and said, "Hello, Nigel."
Well, John Lydon has always been outspoken, and this is why he got banned from a lot of the stations before. It wasn't because he was outspoken; it was because he was outspoken and telling the fucking truth, and they didn't like it. You know, he told it like it was, but he was absolutely bang on point with a lot of what he said, and a lot of what he said back then is coming out and is being proved true now today.
Talk to me about that, Jimmy Savile. I could tell you a thing or two.
Oh, well, that was the one that got him banned to start with, wasn't it? When he was starting to tell the truth about him and nobody listened.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, yeah, Piers Morgan, Gary, as far as I'm concerned, he's only there to gain viewings by being controversial.
Yeah, he jumps on the latest thing, doesn't he? He's a grifter.
Yeah. And this is why he switches about from so many different channels and shit. Now, if you look at mainstream media now, obviously, yes, I do watch it because I do get the stories from there sometimes before I go and research once I've picked up the headlines. But I have noticed now that a lot of the interviewers, yeah, they're brainless morons, but a lot of them are turning more and more on the politicians now. They're not letting them get away with spouting the shit that they were. Now, it's particularly against the Tories. So obviously they think Labour's going to win. We've got to be in, cahoots with them. They're going to be the ones that are running the shit show.
Already saying that.
Yeah. There's a hashtag going around Twitter at the moment, hashtag 0 seats.
Yeah.
And Farage actually said it the other day, 0 seats. I think somebody's nudged him towards that thing. He's got to play it easy though, Anna. He's got to really play it easy because there are too many normies that will go, oh, he can't say that if they knew what things that possibly.
I still think it's still going to be a battle between Labour and the Tories, and I don't think it's going to be as big a runaway as they're saying, because a lot of the polls, they are favouring Labour. They're ignoring Farage and Reform. That's why they're not looking as big as they are in there. But on the quiet, Reform have got quite a bigger following than what people are saying. But there are still the ones that are sticking with the Tories. I think Labour will get in. They will win it.
Right.
But I don't think it will be by as big a margin as what people are saying. They will get in with a majority, but it's who's taking seats away from both of them. This is where it comes into play, and that's what Reform is doing. There was another, I think it was 2 or 3 Tory MPs that have defected to Reform today or in the last couple of days.
I'd be careful if I were Nigel Farage, because if there's Tory wets, the same sort of Tories that had switched sides and go over to Labour, then he ought to tell them to do one. I mean, if they're proper Conservatives, like your likes of that, I can't remember his name. I'm crap with names. If they're the backbench Tories that have been poking, wagging fingers at their own bloody front bench and their own cabinet, then he's probably better off taking them on board. But if the Tory wets, forget it.
Yeah, I mean, the Tories are falling apart anyway. They're doing more arguing amongst themselves than they are with other parties.
It's almost as like they're doing it on purpose.
I'm convinced now. I said this a long while back. This was back when even I think Bojo was still in. I said if they ever come close to losing an election, they will make such a big balls up of everything they got there and leave it in such a mess that it would take another few years for anybody taking over power to sort out. And with what they're doing, it looks exactly like that's what they're doing with what Roland's doing.
Gary says it's all chess. I think. Yeah, I think you're right. I can't understand how they can be like so much self-awareness that they're actually, it's like they're committing Harry Carey, and they must be doing it on purpose.
Yes. Well, I said it in today's video. I said about the farmers. Now, the interview I saw where the farmers were questioning him and he was putting what he wants to do. Again, it's always a small group They're obviously supporters or they've been paid.
Mm.
Now, not one of them looked like a working farmer. They all had fucking clean overalls on with John Deere and whatever on them. Now, I've never seen a clean farmer. They've all got the little signs, support Labour. The questions were obviously cherry-picked. No, and he started talking to them about the boats. No, that's not what farmers want to hear. You know, he was there, oh, we're going to do this for the farmers, that for the farmers, where they've been doing the opposite. They've been taking farms away. They've been driving farmers off the land. They've been stopping them working. And then he stands there and tells them they're fighting for them. It's a load of bollocks.
There's one good thing about
it
that's bringing it to public attention, especially normies like my missus.
Yeah.
My missus binge watches Clarkson's Farm. And Jeremy Clarkson last week was voted the sexiest man in was Oprah's.
That's happened before with him being voted the sexiest man. But yeah, it's not even smoke and mirrors anymore. It's out and out blatant lying. I mean, you look at today. Sunak was there today in front of, was it the fishermen? Oh, we're stopping the boats. There's less coming than there ever was. And then today, to point it out, or was it yesterday, a new record number come over in a day, 880 odd. They said there was nobody rescued, but apparently there was 85.
Before, that's something else which is rather, shall we say, mischievous or Machiavellian about Farage, is that apparently he went boat fishing in the channel one day, and he broke the news that there were people floating across on dinghies, and we all know that Active Patriot and Little Veteran were reporting on that months and months previously.
Yeah, it was when Tracy was on the docks and Little Veteran and Active were down there doing their thing as well.
Yeah,
that Farage had picked up on it. They went down there and tried to do an interview on the docks where Tracy and that was, and basically the guys said, fuck off, you know, this is our territory. You didn't want to know when we were reporting it originally. So, you know, piss off. And then he went out in the channel on the fishing boat, persuaded one of the fishermen and paid them to take him out there. And it was after that the authorities brought in that they would penalise any fisherman that took any reporters out there on the boats.
Yeah.
He was actually the ones that got them stopped from filming out there.
But he did bring it to mainstream media.
Yes, Scott. I knew at the Globe. I just didn't know whether it'd still be running. Nice to hear that. But yeah, Farage jumped on that. It's been a big thing ever since as well. And that has always been his main lead because he knows it's something of interest. But now you've got the likes of Tommy getting in the shit for it, the government trying to shut down right wing, calling us fucking radicals. Well, if you listen to Farage, surely they should say he's under the same banner.
Yep.
But they won't call him out that as far right.
They're not far right, they're just old school conservatives.
Yeah.
Traditional patriotic conservatives, that's all they are.
Yeah. The conservatives have lost their way over the last God knows how many years. They're anything but conservative.
If being patriotic means I'm right wing, then I'm proud to be right wing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you know, calling everybody football hooligans. Half them idiots wouldn't know what a football hooligan was from back in the day. It's just ridiculous. And a lot of it's got to do with Rowley and Khan, obviously.
Yeah, they replace one wet wipe, Cressida Dick, for another wet wipe.
Trouble is, Missy, it doesn't matter whether you consent or not. If a party has got a majority, the law deems that they have got enough of a majority to rule on everybody's behalf, which gives them the right to make up laws and rules. So not voting doesn't do anything. You'll still be classed under them laws. Even if, that's what I said, even if it's a vote to take the votes away from somebody, there'll be more people voting next month than there's ever done before, believe me.
Not voting is a vote for the majority party in your area.
A no vote nowadays this year especially, a no vote will probably be a vote for Labour.
I still say around here it would be a vote for Conservative because it's been Conservative for so fucking long.
Yeah, I don't like football, Missy. I can't stand the fucking game. My brother used to play professional, but I played as a kid, obviously. But it's a game that never interested me, same as rugby.
My father was a hooker.
Was an hooker, was he? I mean, my dad used to play for Oxford United when they were called Headington United. But
they played for Workington. They got to Wembley.
My brother played for Reading, Crystal Palace, Oxford. He did his apprenticeship at Peterborough.
Dad played rugby. Not that fucking round ball game.
I can't understand the mentality of it. I mean, it's all right, you know, wearing the shirt and having an affiliation to a team, especially if your dad and your granddad supported it. But my dad were a Man City fan when they played at Main Road, you know, and there was an old joke, you know, they were up and down like a bride's nightie between old First Division and Second Division, you know, before they brought this Premiership in. But the thing is, if you look at football now, the Premier League football, all the players are foreign, the managers are foreigner, and the owners are foreigners. I mean, they made Abramovich sell Chelsea. Man City, I think, is owned by a Middle Eastern oil magnate, and minor investment interests in Man City are Chinese business interests. So it's not your team anymore. It's like everything else. It's been globalized and sold off to the highest bidder. And a football club, at the end of the day, vanity project for billionaires.
The last time I actually went to a football match, a professional one, to watch rather than to get into a fight, was when the wall fell down at the Oxford United Manor Ground, and it was either the late 60s or the very early 70s. I think it was the late 60s, because my uncle took me as a kid and the wall fell down at the London Road end. But other than that, yeah, we turned up to one or two Swindon matches and a few Oxford matches, literally just looking for a fight. That was all we went for. We were the original football hooligans. Not like the headhunters in Chelsea or anything back then. It was just, back in my day, it was a bit of fisticuffs outside a pub and then you bought each other a beer. But, yeah, I remember falling asleep on the train coming back from Swindon to Oxford, and I fucking ended up halfway to London.
Roger, I've got to drop down because the wife's nagging me. I've got to bring the cars in, and I've got to bring the washing in, and I've got, what else have I got? I'll take the rubbish out. It's bin day tomorrow. I'll catch you.
No worries. I mean, to be honest, my throat's getting bad. I was going to give it another 20 minutes or so, and then I was probably going to shut down anyway.
Right, I'm off.
I'm still very
catch you later.
No worries, mate. Cheers for dropping in.
Chill,
as always. What's going on in the chat there? What am I missing? There's an illegal alien just waiting to meet you. I've seen plenty of them in my sleep. From that space, hot tub on the deck of a space. Yeah, talking of chores, I haven't done the washing up tonight. I was going to do it.
And then you forgot.
And then I forgot. Yeah, I was getting into other things. I hadn't even intended to do a video today. I did have a bit of a lay-in this morning, but my legs were starting to kick off again, so I had to get up. Am I in trouble again, am I? What am I in trouble for now?
Not doing the washing up.
Not doing it, yeah. No, I'll give her a due, Gary. Yes, there are days, and we've been through this, and we've not had a set to about it, but we've had words. I do promise to do something some days, but then the fatigue will get the better of me or I'll fall asleep. I still intend to do it, but it just goes out of my head and I'll either fall asleep here or I'll just forget.
I never have a go
No,
about him not doing it. No. And if I do dig, it's playful.
yeah.
It's never meant as anything other than, because we both have bad days. And when we have a bad day, all I want to do is stay in bed. I don't want to get up, but I do. I don't want to do shit around the house, but I do. So I understand where he's coming from. And if he doesn't want to do the washing up, but I will need a clean kitchen to cook tea, then I will do the washing up because I need it done.
Yes, Jen, they are. That's what they are, senior moments.
I don't nag. I tell him once and that's it.
Well, Moo, when I lived on my own, mate, I had a thing where I only had two of each, of 2 plates, 2 side plates, 2 sets of cutlery, 2 cups, 2 glasses. So if I wanted to eat and drink, you had to do it at least every other day. Otherwise, you had nothing clean to eat and cook with.
I have enough for a family of 9 at Christmas, so he doesn't have to wash up. But there is not a clean small plate in the house.
Yeah, all right, don't rub it in. Started binning the pots again. Yeah, that's the other thing, Gary. I mean, quite often when I lived on my own, when I used to do the shopping, I'd pick up a pack of fucking paper plates. Yeah.
Got some of them in the cupboard.
But we've got a very small draining board and it gets to a job of, it looks like Jenga. But it is, you know, it's just memory, energy. I mean, that's why I said I'm not going to do a live next week. I've got so much to do before we go away Friday, including going to the hospital for treatment. The grass needs cutting, and I've got a hell of a lot to do, and it is going to wear me out. So there won't be a live next week. Friday will be the last one on Mrs. W's, I expect.
If I do it, because I'm still moving house, aren't I, with my son?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I do still keep in touch while we're there, Gary. I do. That's what the laptop's on the table for here. It needed a load of updates doing because I hadn't used it for a while. I do take that literally to download the videos that we take while we're fishing. But I won't be on during the day or anything like that. If I'm in the evening, then it might go on for a couple of hours, go on Facebook. If I've got any interesting videos, I might post them. Why, Craig?
I might try going live from my phone.
Cut Mrs. W's grass. But yeah, she can go live on her phone. See, my phones don't do YouTube. In fact, they're that fucking old, you can't even load the YouTube app on them. But, no, I only go live from a computer. I don't like to be connected to Wi-Fi when I'm out. I cut myself off from it.
But at the end of the day, if we're out doing a night fish or something and it's a bit, boring, who knows? Maybe we will do an impromptu.
Well, I did do a live last year, didn't I, for a couple of hours, if I remember rightly?
No.
Didn't I do one?
No, I went on Dan's.
Oh, that might have been it, yeah, on the Sunday night.
Went on Dan's, but you didn't do one. But now I'm thinking I might do one with the two of us. If we're fishing, if Mo comes along, he can join in. He can be on a live. That balls him up because he doesn't like showing his face, does he?
I don't know whether you'll be able to do a live on your mobile out.
I don't know, but I could try.
You certainly could. Well,
I'm
you
not
could try
saying
it.
I
You
will-
could
I'm
try
not-
it when you're out this weekend. Go live and do it private to me to see if it works. Because before you used to be able to go live on things like that, you had to have a certain amount of subs and a certain amount of viewing times.
Yeah,
Now, I know it's all changed, but I don't know what it is on a mobile. Go on,
well,
fishing.
if I need 500 subs, I'm screwed. But if I don't, then I might. Could always do it on Face ID.
Yeah, I saw the sea on others, the lapping of the sea, so relaxed. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Gary, when we actually fish on the beach, I'm quite happy just to sit there, not catch anything. I mean, most mornings, if I've got the energy for a walk, I will go along their beach combing at low tide to see what the tide the night before is pushed up onto the shingle.
I like to go for a paddle.
She always has a paddle. No, I'm always a designated driver, mate, because I don't drink.
And I do not get drunk around him. So, no, there is no major drinking when we go on holiday.
And the other thing is, drinking while you're fishing can be very dangerous. Very dangerous indeed.
But you don't mind me sitting down with a glass of wine, do you?
Oh, no. If you want to take a bottle of wine with you, I've never minded that, which you've quite often done. Sitting along the prom, but there again, it might be an alcohol-free area this year. You don't know. Yes. The beach is absolutely fine, yeah.
But no, Roger doesn't drink at all, and I only have a tipple. I don't really drink when we're away, do we?
No. Well, we normally either asleep or busy.
Well, there is that. I might, when Craze and Sue, because she likes a gin.
Yeah, well, when Crazy and Sue come, that's what they come up for, a drink. It's a sociable evening, isn't it?
Yeah, a gin and a beer.
They don't do fishing or nothing, so... But that's the weekend before we leave. That's the second weekend.
So we're not fishing after the
Well, it depends when they're turning up, doesn't it? We'll have to arrange around it. But usually no bait left by the Sunday anyway. So... Steak at night. We fish with the tide, Gary. If it's a nighttime tide, then we'll fish the nighttime tide. We have been known to sit out there till 2 o'clock in the morning. It depends on how it's fishing, really, and the size of the tides, obviously.
And what the weather's like.
What the weather's like. Certain size tides are better than others. And unfortunately, because I'm not there all the time, you've got to suss out the ground again every year when you go up, because it's always changing. And that's where the art of it comes in. Yeah, I get it. I was brought up on Humberside. But it's a nice area where we go. It might have changed this year. They might have a load of immigrants there. I don't know.
Doubt it.
But I very much doubt it. Oh. What was that? A moth. Come here, a moth. Yeah, little bastard. Where's that gone now?
Tuesday.
He's after me, Lloyd.
Tuesday.
Moth, you are taking your fucking life in your hands. Where's he gone now? I'll put that there because he's bound to come back. Right, that's 9:30, people. I am feeling quite fucking sleepy at the moment, and my eyes are starting to go. And I can feel my throat getting. Bring me bivvy and just crash on the beach. We got a spare room. It's 2-bedroom cottage.
As long as it doesn't clash with anybody else that puts the name on it.
Yeah. Oh, sleep on the floor, bed chair.
Sofa.
Yeah. That's not a problem. But I am going to call it there, guys. I do want to try and get an early night tonight. But thank you again for coming in. Sorry about dipping out early. Luminous plankton. Yeah. You should see that down in Newquay, Jen. Everybody, give yourselves a pat on the back again, being so respectful there in the chat. Obviously, Loafer, Mrs. W. Thank you very much to you two. I doubt if there'll be a video tomorrow, but I might try and get one out on Friday. All right, Brian. Yeah, sorry cutting off early, mate. My throat is just ripping shit out of me here.
If I do anything impromptu, I'll put an alert out. I'll get Roger to put an alert out for me.
Yeah, I'll put it out on the channel. Green sat. All right, buddy. But thank you very much, guys. Oh, dear. And as always, before we go, stay safe, stay strong, and stay free. Don't forget, live Mrs. W Friday night. So until then, that's goodbye from me, and
It's good night from here.
take care,
Take care,
guys. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have some honey in a minute.